Okay, I'm going to tell you how to go about adding the swap space in a Linux server. So we have a Red Hat machine here, and let's log into it. Okay, it's a Red Hat 6.4 machine, and let's see the current swap that's available. So to see the current swap, you have this option swap on -s that gives you the current status of the partition that's being used as the swap memory. And in case you happen to run free command, it gives you the status of the memory. That's the total memory, the physical RAM available. This is the used amount, and this gives you the calculation of the free RAM that's available to you. And this one talks about the swap space that's been currently configured in the system. The swap space that's not being used as of now, so it's zero used, and all of it is free. Now, we're going to go about configuring the swap space, and in case we need to have any addition to it, so how we actually go about it. So let's run fdisk-l, and if you see here, we have a disk /disk/htc that which we're going to use to add the swap partition. So let's do fdisk uh, fdisk/dev/stc. Let's print the current table, and this shows us the current partitions that are existing on /dev/stc. So now we are interested in creating a partition that's supposed to be the swap partition. So let's do it. N is the option to create the new partition, and this one is going to be the primary one. And now, since two partitions were already existing, this one would be the partition number three. The first cylinder, we're going to leave it by default. And we're going to create a partition 2 gigs in size. Okay. So let's print it again. And this one is the Linux partition. Now, the second thing that needs to be done is to set this partition to the swap types. So here is an option with T, which makes you or helps you change the partition system ID. So we're gonna run T. We're gonna do it for partition number three and type capital L to list different types of file systems that Linux support. And we see that this is 82 is the kind of file system that is actually swap type. So we write here 82 and let's print it again. You see that it's Linux swap or Solaris type. And to write this content to the partition table, we do a W and it writes it all to the partition table. Okay. So now if we do a fdisk-l/dev/stc, we're going to see that the third partition is the swap types or it's Solaris. The third step that needs to be done is to make the swap file system on this partition. So that is done using mkswap/dev/stc3. And let's check the echo status. It's returned 0. Perfect. So it's been set up correctly. Now, this partition is existing as a swap partition on the server. So in order to add this partition to the existing swap space, you need to run swap on -v/dev/stc3. And this adds the swap partition that we have created to the existing swap space that was already there in the system. So running a swap on -s will show you that the partition has been added. Now, in case to make this partition entry permanent, so that if we reboot the system, it stays persistence across reboots, we need to make an entry in edcfs tab. So let's see. Vim/edc/fs tab, and let's add an entry here /dev/stc3, and the mount point for swap it stays as swap, and the partition type is swap. Let's turn on the parameters to default, and let's mark it as 00 for the FSJ criteria. Okay, let's cat /edc/fs tab. Okay, now This is currently available, and let's check if it takes the entry or retrieves the entry from EDCFS tab or no. So to turn off the swap, you use swap off -v /dev /stc3. This can remove the partition. Okay, we did a typo mistake. It's swap off -v, and you now see swap on -s. Now, when we run swap on -a, it's going to read the entries that are there in the EDCFS tab and going to remount them. So any entries that are there for swap will be read as well. And let's see it. Swap on -s. Perfect. So now, even when the system reboots, the swap space is going to stay there. So in the production environment, there is at times a requirement to add the swap space in case there is a swap crunch or you're falling short of RAM. So this is how you actually go about doing. I hope this has been informative for you, and thank you for viewing.